Hi, my name is Jim Collins. I'm Head of Business Development here at Kestra Financial. Thank you for joining our Fail Thee Well podcast today, where we talk with financial advisors about not only the growth of their practices, but the mistakes, the failures, and the lessons that they learned along the way. We're hosting today's Fail Thee Well podcast with Kristin Merrick, partner at O'Keefe Financial Partners. Excited to have Kristin in the chair today with us.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. And I will tell you, in all honesty, Kristin was a big inspiration for the kicking off of this podcast, if I'm being honest. She joined us at a recent Kestra event out in Utah. And the tables were actually turned then, where you were interviewing a good friend of yours who you had grown up with. And I was just so impressed with the honesty and the candor and the authenticity that you displayed. And it was such an important interview that it really honestly was the impetus that led me to promote this idea of Fail Thee Well to our team.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, I wanted to share that with you.
Thank you.
It means a ton. So let's kick things off. I want to dive right in because my fear with today's conversation is we don't have enough time to get to all the amazing things that you're doing.
There's so many things we can talk about.
We know each other pretty well. I helped recruit Kristin's team over to Kestra a number of years ago.
Put up with my dad.
Put up with your dad, who I love your dad.
Yeah, no, everybody loves my dad.
Kristin's brother's in the practice. She's in the practice. It's an amazing family practice, super successful. Great Kestra people, great human beings. And I'll just kick things off because I'll share a little bit of the genesis of Fail Thee Well. Comes from a song that I love, Fare Thee Well, a play on that, where I just love the idea of hearing the challenges that advisors face. We know you're all successful, you've all built amazing practices, but it's not really a straight path to get there. No. And I would tell you, I've made so many mistakes along the way in getting to where I am today. I was a pre-med major in college, took 0 business classes, stumbled my way into starting as a financial advisor. I was terrible at it, so I have a ton of respect for what you do. And then luckily I was able to find the business development, the recruiting side of the house, where really my passion has come out in meeting great advisors like you and your dad and your brother. So that's the context behind the podcast and the webinar. But I'd love to hear from you because I know a little bit of your backstory.
Yeah.
You've built an amazing practice, so we'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay.
Let's start with how you got to the point where you got in the business. Like what helped, where did you get started? How did you get started?
Yeah, it's
what
been
led
a bit
you
of
on
a
this
journey. So Dad was a financial advisor when I was a child, and so that was always interesting to me. I was always like, what's going on here?
Right.
Like, why was the market down? And then he would be like, more sellers than buyers. And I was just always really curious about markets, and I was curious about money.
Yes.
I loved money.
Why?
Because money could like get me the things I wanted. Like I wanted a Mercedes in the 4th grade. And
Did you?
Yeah, no. Like I wanted one. For real. And I was like, why don't we have one? And my father was like, because I have too many kids and not enough money. And I was like, huh. Yeah. So I guess I'll get my own. And so I always had a job. I like sold bracelets on the playground. I was a hustler, like I fully hustled. And then I had a job at 14 at Harmon Cosmetic Health and Beauty Aids. And then I worked at Merrill Lynch when I was 16 because Dad was at Merrill, so I worked at another branch and whatever. I did weird things there.
Yeah.
I like looked at obituaries.
Looking for new clients?
Truly.
Yeah.
Like that was my job.
Inheritances?
It was like who had a baby and who had an obituary.
So like kind of like the early phases of like an ambulance chasing,
100%.
but in the financial services.
Yeah, it was weird.
Got it.
And then I became a business major because I knew I wanted to make money. Like that was truly the reason. I was like, great, let's go.
But you grew up in Jersey, right?
I grew up in Jersey.
And you went to school
and I went
in North
to UNC.
Carolina.
Yep, I went to North Carolina.
Girl, Tar Heel.
Which was go Heels. Yep. And I was a little bit of a fish out of water there because I was from New Jersey and they didn't know what to make of me. That's tale for another time.
Sure.
But I was business major because I knew that I was going to go make money. And then my senior year, we had a lot of companies come and do college recruitment on campus, and I did them all. I did all of the interviews, and I started to navigate towards markets. I did not want to be an investment banker. Did not interest me. I didn't want to work that much.
Right.
I thought it was boring. And so markets really, I started to kind of guide towards that. And then I had this opportunity to interview for a foreign exchange position. And I didn't quite understand what foreign exchange meant, but I thought it was like, it sounded glamorous.
It sounds exotic, right?
I was like,
foreign.
Ooh,
yeah.
Foreign.
Why wouldn't you do that?
Let's go. And so I remember meeting these guys They interviewed me in Chicago. It was Bank of America. 3 or 4 guys. Each one was cooler than the next. Like, I was like, this is my place. And they offered me a job to work out of the foreign exchange desk in New York City.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So August of 2001, I started on the foreign exchange desk in Manhattan. Mm-hmm. And that was a weird
time.
Weird time. Like really, I mean, I was 22 when September 11th happened. And
yes. Oh my gosh, right.
The thing about like being my age now, and your age now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're the same age.
Okay, we're totally the same age.
Yeah, okay.
It's like you know like what you know, and you know what you don't know. But when you're 22, you actually think you know a ton of stuff, but you actually know nothing, right?
Yes.
You know like very little about the world.
Yes.
And so when September 11th happened, I was just like rocked. I was like, what is going on here? Like this is, I didn't even quite understand the gravity of it all. I was like, a terrorist attack? Like in the city I live in? It was such a confusing time. And it really kind of set the tone for my time in New York City. It was a really weird way to start my career.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot, right? I learned about liquidity. I learned about markets moving. I learned about how things like a terrorist attack can completely like wreck global markets. I learned everything in that first few months of sitting on that desk. And that was a really interesting education for me. I was in FX emerging markets for 14 years. I worked at 5 distinct banks. I finished my career at Morgan Stanley, which was a really wild place. Very white shoe. They like to call themselves a white shoe firm. Yes. White shoe.
That's right.
And that was an interesting place to be. And it was just, I learned so much about markets. I learned so much about how the global economy works. I learned so much about human beings. I learned about being under pressure. I mean, being in a foreign exchange desk is a totally insane person job.
Well, yeah, because I feel like it's one of those jobs that you hear about or you see movies about.
Yes, there's
that
actually a
type
show,
of job.
that
Wait, what's the
HBO show Industry.
Oh, is that what is it? Okay.
It's based on that. It's based on a foreign exchange desk.
So they based the show on your experience.
It's
it sounds
totally
like.
me.
Yeah.
I'm like one of these crazy girls.
Yeah.
It's the biggest. It's the fastest moving market in the world, other than the Treasury market. It's $1 trillion+ a day. Anything can make currencies move. Like any headline, any large amount of money rolling through. So it was a constantly like, I was constantly yelling. I was just constantly yelling at men. That's what I did for a living. Whether I was yelling at my traders or I was yelling at my clients, I covered all macro hedge funds. So like the Soroses of the world and the Paul Tudor Jones of the world were my clients. Mm-hmm. It was a really wild experience.
That is amazing. And kind of like our business, was it fairly dominated by men? Were there a lot of women in that role? It's interesting
that you asked that because the foreign exchange, for whatever reason, FX had more women than any other desk in the entire bank. So you could walk up to a bond desk and it would be predominantly men, but for some reason, FX always had a larger representation of women, which was, I always found to be nice. In fact, I actually think there's more women in foreign exchange proportionately than there are female advisors.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely a bunch of dudes, though.
Bunch of guys.
A lot of butt touching.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, we're not gonna touch my butt today.
Right.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean,
Hopefully the Kestra has not.
That's stopped. The butt touching stopped.
Good.
Yeah.
That's right. That is wild. So,
it was good though.
What attracted you to it was the fast pace of it. I'm guessing it was. Income potential was fairly...
Listen, I made a lot in I made a lot of money
and
off.
That was something you were interested in.
And that was my goal, right? That was my goal.
4th grade Mercedes days.
And I made in my first year of college, it was 2001, I had a $55,000 salary, which was a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
I had a $10,000 signing bonus, which I got in college. And
What'd you spend it on?
Drinks. Like
of course you did. Why wouldn't you? You're the most popular girl in the bar.
I was like, who needs tequila? Okay,
another round.
Tequila.
Yeah.
And then I got a bonus. I remember I got like a $20,000 bonus after my first year. So I was rich, right? I was pretty much rich.
For sure.
And that led me to take a cab every day to work. Every single day.
Every single day.
Yes. Never once took the subway.
And at the time you were living like...
I was on 68 and First. It was a totally gross spot. Yeah. And it was probably like a $13 cab ride every day.
You're living the dream.
Rich.
You're hailing the cab.
Mm-hmm. Hailing the cab, drinking the martinis after work. I was living my Sex and the City life.
And you're single at this point.
Right? Oh yeah. I was like, and I was out. They brought me out all the time because I was like fun and young, right?
Yep.
So I was like at every restaurant in New York City. It was fun. It was like a fun young person job.
Absolutely.
It started to get more, as it got more serious, as I got more senior, it started to get more serious. You had P&L to meet, and you had budgets, and you had managers and people yelling at you all the time. And a couple of things started to change, right? The crisis really changed a lot of things. The financial crisis changed the entire industry. And I say post-crisis, the money started to go away and the fun started to go away. So the two kind of things that I was in it for kind of started to be less interesting.
And this is right around what year is this?
This is so I started at Morgan Stanley in 2009, which was a really dark time at Morgan Stanley, real dark. And then kind of the subsequent years, everyone was just kind of getting themselves back to life. It was a lot of rebuilding and everybody was moving around and getting new jobs and everything. So it was a weird time, and they were paying us all in deferred comp.
Oh, yeah.
All in deferred comp. And I was, 30 something? And I was like, no, I want my money now. Yep. I had a boss who was like, Kristin, this is great for you. This is great for you. This is money that you'll use down the road. And I was like, shut up.
Right.
Shut up, you rich jerk.
I like some now money too.
Yeah, I need money now to buy my clothes.
Future money's good, but I like now money.
I need clothes money.
Yeah.
And so it kind of started to overlap with me having kids too.
Yes. Okay, so at this point,
I'm mid-30s.
Mid-30s, married at that point?
I'm married.
Married.
I'm married,
yep.
and
you met your husband how?
We lived in the same apartment building in New York City. He lived with one of my buddies who I grew up with down the hall from me.
Oh, no way.
Really weird. Yeah. Really weird coincidence. I did not live in that apartment because of my buddy. We just happened to both live there. And then I was at his apartment one night and Kevin came in and impressed me. And he was in finance. And he... So cute. He sent me a Bloomberg the next day and asked me out on a date via Bloomberg.
Like every great love story.
Like a real finance love story.
On a Bloomberg.
On a Bloomberg.
Mike Bloomberg would be proud.
Yeah, he would. He would. And it was the old, it was the command, and Bloomberg at the time was all command driven, so it was MSG2, and he had to find my name and then send me a message.
So he had to, there's a little bit of effort that
he did.
He had
to do some due diligence, he had to ask around.
So your first date was what?
It's a little embarrassing. But first date, I was watching The Incredibles in my apartment, and he came down the hall. It's like, why don't you come watch The Incredibles with me? And he was really into fitness at the time.
Okay.
And he brought his own snack. And his snack was...
I gotta know, what was it?
It was so embarrassing. He brought baby carrots and ranch dressing.
Wow.
Yeah, and I still have the bowl that he brought it in, which is cute.
Do you really?
I do. I'm very sentimental that way, but I'm telling the story because it's ridiculous, and I want the world to know how silly it is, because I make fun of him about it to this day. Poor Kev. But it took him a few dates.
Yeah.
It took him a few dates. It wasn't until he danced that I was like, oh.
That's when you were impressed?
In the Hamptons.
Dance in the Hamptons.
Yeah.
So were you at a wedding, or you just?
No, it was just like we were in our 20s in the Hamptons. It was like a weekend, and
so that was the thing. Like you would go out to the Hamptons.
Oh yeah, we all had share houses. So in the like in the East Coast, like New Jersey, tri-state area, you always have a share house when you're in your 20s, right? And mine was always in the Jersey Shore, obviously. Mm-hmm. And mine was in Manasquan, New Jersey, and Kev's was always out in he was from Long Island, so his was out in the Hamptons. And each weekend you'd be like, whose share house are we going to?
Oh,
and that particular weekend, I went to his share house, which was disgusting.
Yeah, I'm sure it was gross.
Disgusting. And I saw him dance, and I was like, oh, all right, you're in.
So that was the moment you knew.
That was it.
You knew he was the one at that point.
So
he was in finance as well.
Yeah, he worked for a hedge fund. He worked for a mortgage-backed securities hedge fund.
Oh, okay.
That went really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Subsequently, that in 2008, that went really well. It was a good outcome for everybody.
Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness. This is amazing.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
That's fantastic. I mean, I'm not exactly sure where to go from there. Like that is such that threw me off a little bit. But okay.
All right, so we're back to my kids. I'm having
back to your kids.
I'm living in the city.
The
job's tough.
Slowing down. The money's not as good.
The money's not as good. It's not fun anymore.
So at that moment, that feels like it might be one of those turning point moments for you.
This was like a thing.
What?
Yeah. So I had my first little guy. I had Willie in 2012.
Yeah. 2 boys, right?
Yep. I went back to work right after, 4 months after Willie was born. and like pumped in the weird pump room. It was like a bad situation. It was just awful. And like, they just rode me, man. They were rough. It was a rough time.
Yeah.
And I just hated it. I hated it. And so I got pregnant again.
Yeah.
Let me solve the problem.
Right, let's kick the can down
so I
the
got
road
pregnant
a little
again,
farther.
and then I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
Like I am done with this. And so we moved out to Jersey. We bought a house out there. I had Charlie in 2014, exactly 2 years after Willie. And then I was on maternity leave, and I called them up, and I was like, let me free.
Yeah.
Like, it's time. It's
What
time
was
to
the
go.
response to that?
The response was pretty positive.
Yeah.
They were like, you're good, Kristin. And so, but you remember they owed me a ton of money.
Yes.
They owed me a ton of money.
Yes.
And so I was like, how would you feel about laying me off? Because if you get laid off, you get your money.
That's right.
So I got laid off.
No way. That worked out.
It was great.
Oh my gosh.
It was great. So I called it my retirement. And then like 45 minutes later, my dad was like, do you want to go out to lunch? And I was like, okay. And he bought me a glass of rosé and was like, I think you should come work with me.
Love that. Now was Johnny, her brother Johnny, was Johnny in the practice at that point?
No,
or no?
I think Johnny was 25 in the Marine Corps at the time.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
right,
Johnny's
right.
10 years
Because he's
younger. So I think
that's
Johnny
right.
was actually still in the Marine Corps at the time.
Yes.
And so, I was like, yeah, let's
Yeah.
do it. I think that having a
Did
toddler.
you have any reservations about it? Like, it's interesting because the family practice dynamic, it's either, I feel like it's either like amazing or it's kind of forced. But like when he pitched that to you, your initial reaction
My
was
initial
what?
reaction is, that's your job. That's what you do.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I am a fancy Wall Street gal.
Right.
That is my job. And so it took me a little bit of time to kind of think through this. And then it started to kind of make sense, right? Like, obviously I had the market experience. I had all my licenses. Like, that part was pretty easy.
Sure.
And I'm a good people person.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I had been covering clients for years. It wasn't like this was going to be my first, rodeo in terms of sales and in terms of relationships. And so I was like, okay, great, let's go. I have a toddler, I have a newborn, I have a new house. I should definitely start a new career. And
Right. Do it all at once. Rip the Band-Aid off. Go.
And Dad was like, I am going to give you all my clients. And I was like, great.
This does sound, actually, this is sounding better by the minute.
I was like, let's do it, Dad.
Yeah.
And then he gave me one.
Yeah. We got to give you the starter client.
Yeah, I got the
You gotta
one.
See how you do.
It's been one. And so that
Has he
landed
only
me
given you, like, to date, he's only given you one, or in that moment he gave you one?
both.
Both. Okay. That's what I wondered. Yeah. So he hasn't slowed down much.
No, not really. Like, he
Yeah.
still comes to work every day and like does his thing. The family practice is an interesting one, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of fascinated by it. Like, what is, like, when you describe it, like, is there, because my question is around, it sounds great when it works. It's amazing. It's like if you have great bonds the way the three of you do, and it's just powerful. It's like 1 + 1 = 10.
Yeah.
But sometimes it doesn't work out quite that way. So
Yeah.
have you, like, along the way, because you can't, like, it's not, you can't kind of divorce yourself from the work part and like, oh, I'm just going to go to work and then I'm going to go home. Like, it's all kind of part of the same thing when
Sure
you're in a
is.
family practice like that.
Sure
So
is.
did you have fears going into it, or even to this day, or like the biggest challenge you have in the practice is like what? What does that
I'm
look
not
like?
sure I can say that because Dad's probably listening.
I know, right?
No, Dad's great. No,
right.
the biggest challenge that we're actually facing now is just kind of this idea of how we enhance and grow and scale our business.
Yeah.
Right. We've both and my brother have both built our own businesses. And Dad has his own. So we do kind of each have our own book of business at the time, at this point in time. And the goal is to become more of an ensemble.
Yes.
And modernizing some of the way that we do things. And I think that, like, that's our biggest challenge at the moment. It's a good challenge, though, and it's something we're really working through. Like, we're working through partnership conversations. We're working through succession conversations. I think in theory, like, it seems very, like, I just went to one of these G1, G2 peer perspectives, and, like, it sounds like easy. You're like,
It sounds like,
yeah.
it sounds super easy, actually.
So whatever, Dad, give me your business. And, it's really hard to give up your business, and it's really hard to give over any of your clients, which I understand. So we're working through that.
Yeah. Is your from your dad's standpoint, right? Do you envision him? Because a lot of times they'll talk to advisors and say, "I'm going to work until I'm going to die at my desk. Like, I love this job. It's great. I'm never going to step away. Does he think in terms of like, I'm going to work for a finite amount of time and then Kristin and Johnny are going to kind of take over for me? Or
yeah, I think it depends.
Or are you starting
it depends on the day.
Yeah.
If you ask him, to be honest, like if you called him right now, he'd probably have a different answer than tomorrow, because I just don't think he knows.
Yeah. So he's
also young. He's 71.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He is young 71.
Yeah.
How long have you all been in how long have you been in the practice?
So I've been in the practice since 2015. So that is 11 years.
11 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was going to be my question. So if you think back to when you joined the practice 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Was there, I don't want this to come out the wrong way, but to avoid some of the challenges you're facing now, is there something that you should have done differently in those early days of joining the practice to set yourself up to either having more of an ensemble or having a defined exit strategy? Or is it just kind of,
I tried
it's
back
family,
then.
right? It's
yeah.
hard to.
I think what happened was, listen, 11 years ago, Dad was 60, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like 60 is
most
young.
of the guys here at the conference are older
totally.
than 60.
Like Dad was
honest.
young 11 years ago, and so it was not a retirement conversation then. It was a little bit more of like, let me help him, with some things that he no longer wants to handle or do or whatever.
Yeah.
That just never really happened. Like it never really, and so it kind of became very evident to me very early that I was going to have to just like go figure my own thing out. If I wanted to build this, it had to be my work that I was out there in the world bringing in clients.
Yes.
And so I really, I realized that quite early, which was good.
Yes.
The hard part was getting the clients, right? Because it's a really hard business to start.
That's right.
And I really was barking up all the wrong trees initially. Like my initial, and it makes sense, right? You kind of go after what you know, who you know, and all the people I knew were my Wall Street buds, and I was calling them all up, and I was taking this one to lunch, and I was taking this one for drinks, and I'm like, let me manage your money. And what I realized is most of them don't have anyone manage their money. They're terrible with their own money.
Yep.
Terrible with their own. It's such an interesting thing that I learned right off the bat, was that people on Wall Street don't do anything with their own money. Most of the time it's for compliance. They just get wrapped up in their restraints and compliance, and so they end up doing nothing, and they just sit on cash, and it's really weird.
Yeah.
And so I spent about 18 months just spinning, kind of spinning, and hey, Dad, you want me to help you? And then you'd be like, no, I'm good. And I'd be like, okay. And then I would go back to calling up this guy or that guy. And then I started to bring in a few things, like my sweet father-in-law. Oh, yeah. He was the best. Mm-hmm. He had retired, and he really needed help, and he was so sweet, and he was so kind to give me all of his money to manage, which was not insignificant for me at the time. It was a big account for me, and I was really grateful. That's meaningful. Yeah. And so there was that, and then I kind of started to grow a little, but I had a real pivotal moment in January of 2017. Okay. So in October of 2016, there was this women's group that opened in New York City. It was called The Wing, okay? And it was basically a social club for women. And it was kind of revolutionary at the time, and no one had really done it well, and it was cool. I mean, it was beautiful, it was chic, it was really stylish, and every woman in New York City wanted to go. Mm-hmm. And so I joined The Wing, was one of the founding members of The Wing, and we kind of created this really nice community of women who would, it was a co-working space, and they would have events and da-da-da. And they said, Kristin, do you want to come talk about money? And I was like, yes, I definitely do. And they're like, great, come on January 4th. And I was like, oh, okay. It's January 4th in New York City. No one's coming.
No one's going to be there. Yeah.
No one's coming.
Thanks. That was the slot they had to fill.
Yeah, I was like,
Kristin.
Okay, that's tough.
Yeah.
And so I was like, great, no one's coming. I'm just going to be talking to no one. Mm-hmm. It was a smash. It was still one of the most exciting days of my life. It was 90 women. Women were sitting on the floor. They were it was crazy. And it was not really that profound. It was this is an IRA.
Yeah.
This is how compound interest works, right?
Love that.
They were high-fiving, hallelujahs.
Wait, so tell me why. Why do you think it was?
It was we were
such a smash. That's
women.
interesting.
Women need this information, and they hadn't heard it. no one had ever sat them down and said, this is the difference between a Roth and a traditional IRA. This is why you should contribute to your 401k. This is how, money grows. This is what this word means, right? Like jargon freaks people out, but
people shut down when they hear jargon because they usually don't know what it means, and they're afraid to ask because they don't want to look stupid.
Yeah. And it was so amazing. And I literally finished, and I turned to one of my friends who'd come to watch, and I was like, this is my business.
Yes.
Like, boom, I figured it out. This is it. And honestly, never looked back. It was. I remember the next day I had 8 calls.
Did you really?
I had 8 calls. None of them had any money, by the way.
Yeah,
no one had any money.
Right.
No one had any money. But
that was 8 calls in one day, which was probably monumental.
It was intoxicating. And and I really leveraged the wing. I leveraged a lot of other women's groups that were all really popping up in New York City at the time. It was post, do you remember, it was post the 2016 election.
Yes.
Which was a very devastating thing for a lot of women.
Yes.
That Trump beat Hillary Clinton. And so I think a lot of women were just kind of seeking out community and seeking out other women to do business with. And it was really kind of the start of an interesting, I would say, I think when you look back on the phases of feminism, you'll look back on that time to be like, oh, that was a really interesting moment where women started to really turn to each other and be like, let's support each other, as opposed to sharp elbows and things like that. And so it was a really magical time. And I met some of the most magnificent women ever in New York City. I have such an incredible network of women in New York who do all these incredible things. And and you know how this business goes. Once you get going and once you get rolling and once you make a few people happy, it starts to really, really grow.
Yes, and it's that theme of, and a lot of this is that theme of connection. How do we make ourselves vulnerable? How do we open up? How do we attract people? How are we magnetic and connect? Yeah. So is that around the same time? So Kristin also founded a group. I'll just throw the acronym WWFH.
Yeah, because we can't use the F word.
Yeah.
Can't use the F word.
Women work.
Yeah. The listeners don't like
it's not fairly hard.
No, it's not fairly hard.
Something hard. So you co-founded that? Was that an offshoot of the wing and the amazing connections you made?
A little bit of the momentum that the wing had. So the reason it started was we had this woman who did all of our skin. She was our skin person, okay? And that's an important thing when you're a lady. Yeah. And she was growing her business, and she was really looking to expand her clients. And we were like, we can help her. We know a lot of fancy women in New York City. Let's call them. We'll invite them to Lindsay's apartment. Lindsay's my best friend.
Same Lindsay as we...
Yes. Yeah, Lindsay Shookus.
Lindsay Shookus, okay.
Lindsay Shookus was, for the listeners...
Yeah.
Was the keynote speaker at our event that we were together in Utah.
At our leadership
leadership event.
Amazing. The two of them together was amazing chemistry.
She's the best. And
you grew up together, the two of you.
We went to college together. We met at Carolina. We met at Carolina.
Yep.
She was also she's a legend. She's a 20-year producer from Saturday Night Live. So she's an amazing person.
She had some pretty good stories.
She did. Yeah, she sure did.
Pretty awesome.
So funny.
Yeah.
Never mind. So we're talking about how we're going to help this woman, and Lindsay's like, let's open my apartment. We'll invite 50 women who have enough money to hire Lily, and Chris, we're going to call it Women Work Bleeping Hard.
Really hard. Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So tired. I just was so. I remember being so
your
tired.
Initial reaction to that was not let's do
okay,
it. It was more I guess I'll help you and Lily out.
I was just exhausted. I had toddlers.
How old were your kids at the time?
So it was Willie would have been 6 and Charlie would have been 4. Okay. So they were really little. I'm building this business. I was constantly working, constantly caretaking. I was exhausted, and I remember just being so tired when she mentioned the party, and I was like, great, let's do it. So we threw this first party. We had some fancy women come. We had a few celebs.
Oh.
Thankfully, Linz is able to pull a few celebs out of her hat every once in a while.
We won't throw any names out there, but I will tell you, Lindsay's celebs are legit celebs.
They're legit celebs.
Yeah.
She told me the other day that she was texting with Peyton about the Bills coach getting fired.
Oh. Okay.
Casual.
Yeah.
Casual.
She's a huge Bills fan.
Huge Bills fan. And she was very
Bills
upset
Mafia.
about the coach. So we started it. It was a smash. And the party took place in Lindsay's beautiful apartment at the time, all these women were like, what are we here for? Like, what's the catch?
Yeah.
And we were like, well.
So they just kind of came just because they like you, and they're like,
we
we'll
like
support
you,
Kristin
the
and
name's
Lindsay.
cute,
Yeah.
Lindsay's apartment's cool, like, sure, let's go.
Yep.
And we brought everybody into the room, and they're like, well, why are we here? And we're like, really, you're here to support other women. Like, Lily does our skin, you should hire her. Yeah. She does a great job. But like, also you should look around this room, find 3 people, go up to them, introduce yourself, and see how you can help them. What resource can you give them? Like, can you send them an investor for their company that they're raising capital for? Can you send them a name of a divorce attorney? Like, I don't know what they need, but go ask, right? Go ask. And so that's where it started. It was in 2018. We did it again in the apartment in 2019, and then 2020 we got big, and it was before COVID.
Yeah.
It was February of 2020. So we did it in this huge space. We had 100 and something women. It was so cool. It was like the coolest thing. We've done it every year since. We've had parties in LA, we've had parties in Chicago, we've done a bunch of virtual stuff. And it's really just, if you want to support women and you're not an asshole.
Yeah.
Can I say asshole?
I'm not sure, but it's okay. We're just going to keep rolling. We weren't ready to do the WWFH, but I think this
I feel like
might
that's
be
an allowable one.
Well, it's funny because when we talk about recruiting at Kestra, that's one of our rules. We have 4 rules.
Well, I know it is.
No assholes.
I know it is, and Mark actually said that.
Yep.
At the event in Utah, and I remember being like, "Same, Mark, same." Like, we have a rule about that. Like, don't be a jerk. Right. Don't be a jerk.
That's right.
And so that has really, that community that we've created has obviously helped my business grow. It's also just like enabled me to do some of the coolest things that I met founders, I've met authors, coolest. I just feel so
What's
lucky.
the coolest, and you don't have to share names or anything specific, right? But the coolest offshoot of that, coolest experience that you had.
I truly believe that Lindsay and I are responsible for the success of several women's businesses. Like, nice. I think that because what we do is we create this female-founded gift bag, and we bring in, and the gift bag is legendary. It's become like a whole thing.
Yeah,
I think
everybody wants one.
Yeah, it's like people steal them. It's like a whole thing. Yeah. And so the gift bag is just taken on like its own thing. And so via the gift bag and via the women that we highlight at these events, I can honestly say that we have like changed patterns and changed people's behaviors and like really, really helped like companies grow. It's pretty cool.
Oh, that is very cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. You must feel like sense of pride and accomplishment and fulfillment.
Yeah,
from that, I would imagine.
My thing too is like my favorite thing in the world is to bring people business.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I can get you business, that's all I want. And this enables me to do that. We have so many beautiful stories of women meeting at our events and like going on and founding businesses together and partnering and this, that, and the other thing. Who's hiring who for this project? It's the best.
That's amazing. I love I wish more people had that give first mentality versus what can you do for me? And then if you do something for me, then I might do something for you.
I mean, it's going to get me into heaven, I think.
I think so. I mean, it's going to point you in the right direction at least. Yeah. So along those lines, kind of bringing it back a little to our biz.
Yeah.
Do you feel that same sense of community? I'm always intrigued by, like, you're a great financial advisor who happens to be a woman. Right?
Yes.
There are some women advisors who I talk to who say, I'm a great advisor. Like, it doesn't matter that I'm a woman. And then there are some women, female financial advisors, successful ones, who really embrace the female dynamic and they create a special, similar to what you've done, kind of a specific ecosystem of like, hey, we're a group of, like kind of like we have here that Kara and Angie are leading. Like, how much of that do you get? Do you get a sense of community in our business from connecting with other female advisors?
I do.
Or is it lacking? Or where is it?
It is lacking.
Yeah. Oh, well, first of all, I think the stats are 15%.
Oh, it's so bad.
Women.
It's so bad.
At Kestra, and I think that's higher than the industry
But I was going to
average.
say that's actually if that's Kestra's numbers, you guys are doing better
Those are our
than
numbers.
most.
I know that.
I think the
but it's still pretty.
I think the real number is 90% are men, 10% are women, and then like it gets even worse when you break down that 10% of women, because a lot of times those 10% of women aren't like the biz dev front like sometimes they're like the service, so there's not like a lot of of me
like
out
lead
there
female
bringing the biz,
advisors,
doing the
owners.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you navigate that, right? Like
Yeah.
how do you find your kind of community, if you will? Not that you can't connect with male advisors, that's fine too, but there's something special in what you've done at WWFH or all the places you've been, all the stops you've had, all the experiences you've had. Can you get that same thing in our business, or?
I think if you try, yeah, I think you can. And I think we did this really beautiful lunch today with what they're calling the Women's Collective, which I love. I think it's such a nice name. And Kara and Angela are running point on that, and I moderated the panel, and it was a really cool panel about like not just like women and the business, but like how it's uniquely difficult to be in this business and be a woman.
Yes.
Right? And I think it really resonated. And I think that a lot of women advisors don't feel like they have a community. So I'm really excited about this idea of this Women's Collective and maybe seeing if there's a way that we can really grow it as a community, as a place to go for resources, as a place to go for like, sometimes you just need to like vent, right?
Yes.
Like sometimes you need to be like, ugh, I have to tell this story. But like sometimes you also need something. I need an estate attorney in Iowa. I don't know. And that's kind of what we've created with WWFH as well, is like, hire the women. Like, go out of your way to hire women. Go out of your way to pay women and buy women female-founded products, right? Like, do the work. Right. Take the extra step to do the work. And I think that's, to answer your question, like, the community you need to work on it here, because it's literally like, I'm like seeking out women here. I'm like, you're a woman.
Yes.
You're a woman.
Yeah. You're with Kestra, right? And you're a woman.
Great.
Well, it is amazing. I would tell you, in my time, I've been here about 12, 13 years, and legitimately some of our most amazing advisors are women. And it's coincidence or not, but it's like being able to connect, making sure that all who I feel like are the great female advisors in our ecosystem. Yeah. Obviously, from a leadership standpoint, Angela and Kara and a lot of the folks on our team are unbelievable women who are leading this organization, and we need to do a better job of celebrating. And
Agreed.
I think the fact that, and I think Chris Chester did a great job getting it to this point, but with Angela and Kara taking it to that next level and really embracing that ecosystem, that is something that is really, really powerful. Yeah. And I will tell you, the female advisors who we meet, they want to know, tell me about your female advisors, your collection, your ecosystem. What's that group like? I met with one this morning who said, I'd love to lead a study group of female advisors, right? Like that's the kind of stuff that we need to do a better job of connecting people.
Agreed.
And making sure that we're making the right introductions. The same way you're very thoughtful about how do I connect people who can help each other. Like I think Kestra can absolutely do a better job of that.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the industry can do a better job at that.
Sure.
Right? And we talked about this as part of like our talking point for the panel. Like, should we integrate, like, why is it so difficult? And that's like a rabbit hole that we're not going to touch today.
Sure.
But the idea of like, how do you encourage more women to join this business?
Yes.
And I like the idea of like embracing the fact that I'm a woman and I do this job, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've talked about vulnerabilities several times. Like, this is a job in which people are really vulnerable with you.
Yes.
I mean, I'm like the second call for like everything: divorce, pregnancy, parents dying, like every bad call I'm on the other end of almost immediately after it happens.
Yes.
Right? That's heavy.
That's powerful.
It's powerful, and you have to be human, and you have to be vulnerable, and you have to, I think that as a woman, I bring a lot to that maybe some men don't.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, I think that's that vulnerability. I talk about the reason why I love this business, why I love my job, is I get to connect with amazing human beings who happen to be financial advisors, and hearing their stories, their paths, what they're struggling with, and how we can be a great fit potentially on the business side of things. But also, there's a lot of emotion to what we do.
Certainly is.
Especially when people think about moving their entire book of business over to a new platform.
Yes.
A lot of sleepless nights, conversations with spouses, ups and downs. Like this is more than just getting ACATs and moving them on the platform.
Yes.
It is an unbelievable lift. And we need to be there through that whole process on a human level in addition to on a business level. So we could talk forever. One question that I'll wrap with. So if you could tell the younger Kristin way back when, hey, here's something that I thought was really important back then that I realized through all these amazing experiences that you've had and successes, that I realized, you know what, that wasn't actually as important as I thought. What would that be?
I think perfection. I hate perfection. I used to be really focused on perfection. I was like oldest kid, straight A student, blah, blah, blah. And I really thought that that's like what everyone expected of me.
Yeah.
And then I just got tired of it. Like I just genuinely got exhausted by the idea of it. And I think that would be the message. I think that would be the message to just be like, it's not all that serious. Like, calm down.
Yeah.
Like, I've always been an emotional person, but I was a very emotionally charged person in my 20s. And I was, just always like running around like a maniac. Like, no, like calm down. Relax, girlfriend.
Yeah, I love that. So do you feel like you're a little more chill now?
I do.
Or are you still on a journey to?
I'm journeying,
right.
But I'm getting really much better.
Yeah,
I'm getting. And my like tagline is, perfection is the enemy of execution.
Yes.
And I believe that wholeheartedly. Like you can't. I'm way better at that now. It's like just get on with it. It doesn't have to be perfect.
I love that, and I can tell you, I've been looking forward to this conversation for a really long time. And this was as close to a perfect podcast or webinar as we can get. So
because I'm a perfectionist.
Because you are. So thank you so much, Kristin. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Thank you all for joining us on this Fail Thee Well episode. Love the conversation.
Me too.
And just so excited to see what you do going forward. You're amazing.
Thanks, you are too.
Thanks.